So where I live, one of my neighbors, the son, is currently in prison because he stabbed somebody. So he's been sentenced to jail. And this is literally my next house neighbor I'm talking about, struggling with their monthly repayment. Some are paying as high as £2,000. Yes, £2,000 per month for their monthly repayment. I've reached a point where I need to calm down. I need to calm down. I need to rest. I need to enjoy life. So they're like, move to Scotland, move to Scotland. So I've been focusing my searches on moving up north. So hey guys, welcome once again to another video. So this is an update video of the video I did talking about my eviction or the notice I've received from my landlord to leave the property at a certain date because he's put up the property for sale. So this is just some few days after I filmed that video, and as I said, I'm posting this video in retrospect. So by the time you see this video, I have moved past to another stage generally, because I don't want it to be like, giving fresh updates. I want to make sure that I've left one thing before I talk about it. Yeah, that's how most of the times I film my personal lifestyle videos. So if I'm traveling, by the time you see me posting about the video, I have already come back, or I am nearly coming back before I post that video. So technically, that's how content creation works. You don't give live updates. Generally, that's what I want to mean. So yes, we have finally decided to leave London. And I'm super stoked and happy to talk about this, because I think most of you have been with me through my journey. When I first came to the UK, I was brought to Kent. That was the NHS trust that brought me from overseas in Kent. I worked there for a year and I left the NHS entirely. I moved to London, and since then I've been working in the care homes. It's been an absolutely amazing journey. By the grace of God, I've been able to climb up into the level of management. I have learned a lot. I have built relationships and communities, but it is time to leave. And I've thought about this through and through. This is not a decision I made, to be honest with you. This is not a decision I've made because my landlord said I should leave his house because he's put up the house for rent. No, absolutely not. Somewhere last year, while I was still on certificate of sponsorship, I was still on a visa, I had a job with Care UK, one of their homes in Manchester. And after we went through the interview, we did everything. They gave me the job offer and they were applying for my certificate of sponsorship. I withdrew from the job. Initially, I really was looking forward to moving to Manchester. But again, as I said, as at that time, the uncertainty level was really high and I was scared. I didn't really know how that part of UK was like. And then I felt putting all my life there in that area whilst on sponsorship. What if I don't like the place? What if it doesn't go well? I would have to look for another sponsorship, which might be difficult. One of the reasons why I've lived in London till this time is because of sponsorship. It's really easy to get sponsorship. And as you all know, every year I was changing job and I was very lucky or fortunate to get sponsorship. So my last sponsorship change, which led me to my settlement, I actually had 5 job offers and I chose one that I wanted. It's been a growth process. Apart from, working with my permanent employers, I've also worked in about 7 different NHS trusts. So I've worked in Maidstone NHS, I've worked in Conquest Hospital in Hastings, I've worked in St. George's Hospital in London, I've worked in Ashford and St. Peter's Hospital by the Heathrow, I've worked with Luton and Dunstable Hospital, I have worked with, I'm trying to remember some of the names, I've worked with Kim's Hospital, which is a private hospital for surgery, I have worked in Circle Group's Hospital, which is a private hospital as well. And I've worked in 6 different care homes. So my current care home is the 6th care home I've worked in. And I do bank in another care home. So I've gotten that overall experience of working in UK across board, from acute care setting to care homes to complex care. I've done a bit of tracheostomies. And I feel like, I have got that all-round exposure that puts me in a position to easily get a job anywhere I choose to live in the UK. And so if I decide to move out of London now, getting a job or securing a job is not going to be difficult, number one. Number two, I don't require sponsorship, obviously, to work in the UK because now I'm a permanent resident. I can even decide to set up my own business. So why put myself in a box? Let's just go out there and live the dream life. Do you get the point? And also, now there is cost of living crisis in London. I'm not even going to lie about it. The cost of living keeps going high and higher by the day. Every day something is increasing. And I think anytime I tell people about my rent, how much I pay for this beautiful 3-bedroom terraced house, and they're like, oh my God, it's so cheap, it's so cheap. I know my rent is very cheap because I was lucky. My landlord and I, we came to an agreement somewhere 2 years ago. I was at that time renting through a private, a letting agent. And so he took the contract from them and he told me that because I've been a good tenant, he wanted to deal with me directly. So I should pay the money directly into his bank account. So instead of him increasing my rent so that he takes a percentage and give it to the letting agent for administrative charges, he took that percentage from my rent and then he maintained my rent as it is. And that is why I am paying what I'm paying now. Because when I checked on Zoopla, I think the average rent in this area is 1,700 to 1,800. So I count myself extremely lucky and thankful to have this opportunity, to live in such a place and have a rent like this. However, long term is not a plan that is going to help me, especially because I want to build disposable income and, decrease the grind. Basically, it's just to decrease the grind and focus more on doing things that puts me in a position to get more disposable income and to do other things if I decide not to do nursing again. Also, I have done a course in cybersecurity. So if I even decide to leave nursing entirely and look for a cybersecurity job, I know it's definitely going to be a work from home or a hybrid job. So I can stay anywhere in the UK to actually work. So work aspect is not really difficult. I shouldn't tire myself basically to live in London because I want to get a job. That is what I want to mean. Secondly, because I don't need sponsorship anymore to live anywhere I want to live anywhere. Thirdly is for security. Of late, there's been an increased rate of things going on, especially around my area where I live, especially when my kids go to school. Almost every week, every other week, you get emails from the school saying that there has been a suspicious cyclist, there's been a suspicious individual, there's a suspicious activity going here, going there, and that puts you on the edge. So where I live, one of my neighbors, the son, is currently in prison because he stabbed somebody. So he's been sentenced to jail. And this is literally my next house neighbor I'm talking about. And the fact that I lived here for a while without even knowing that this has happened in the neighborhood I live in was shocking. The day I was told by one of the neighbors that this has happened, my anxiety level has been in the roof. I have been living like, it wasn't easy until 2025 this year, where he went for his listening and then he had a judgment passed and he's been sentenced. So the security in this area is not, what do I say? It's not the best. In terms of your sanity, it's not the best. Also, children. Training children in London is not easy. You have to put 2 foot down. You have to be a present parent to make sure that your child is supervised. Everywhere you are in the world, yes, you have to put your foot down, you have to be a good parent. But particularly in London, the vices are a lot. The things that children do here, that my 2 eyes have seen, is not funny. It's not funny at all. For the sake of camera, I don't want to say some of the things online, but if you're a parent here in this London, you have to be 2 steps ahead and, be present, be there. Let your children see you as a friend so that they can tell you everything and you can safeguard them and yourself ahead of time. we've lived here, we've loved it here, we've enjoyed every bit of it. My kids have grown, they've developed, they love every bit of it, from school to home. We've built our own community, our own friendship, our own routines, where we know what we do, when and what time we do what. But unfortunately, it is time to leave. I mean, the cost of living is one of the things that, like, I'm really, really big on that, because in a month, as I said in my other video, in a month I spend nearly £4,000, which means that I make the money, yes, but it goes back into our cost of living, and it's extremely difficult to build that disposable income if you don't put very strict disciplinary measures in place, and if you are not financially disciplined or financially literate, you will struggle to build wealth. Now, if you want to consider buying a house here, yeah, which is one of the things I want to talk about. If you think that, oh, renting is expensive, you want to buy a house here, it's good. I have looked into home ownership in London. I've gone for lots of home ownership shows. I can't even count. I have looked into shared ownership. I have looked into outright buying. I have looked into mortgaging. Literally since 2022 till 2025, I have been on this business. I have spoken to homeowners around my neighborhood in London, my colleagues, and what I will say is, yes, it's possible to buy a house in London, don't get me wrong. I can afford to buy, but will you be happy doing a monthly repayment if you are buying on a mortgage? Because I have friends and colleagues who have bought homes in London who are struggling with their monthly repayments. Some are paying as high as £2,000. Yes, £2,000 per month for their monthly repayment. Some are paying 1,500, 1,700, 1,900 for their monthly repayment. And I asked myself that, is this something that is feasible? I mean, buying a house on a mortgage is not just about being able to afford the property or being able to have a deposit. It goes beyond that. It goes beyond that. It's your monthly repayment. And also bearing in mind that interest rate increases over time. And so even if you lock your mortgage for that fixed period of time, after that fixed period of time, the interest rate fluctuates, and definitely it increases if you look at the financial circumstances in the UK. And so if you are currently paying, let's say 1,800 on a mortgage, with the current interest rate, possibility of it going higher and higher is very possible. And how likely is your salary going to increase to match, the energy of the mortgage? And so looking at it from a financial perspective, I personally don't think is a good financial decision for me. And I know that buying a house here obviously increases your equity, like building your equity over time, because the price of the houses go higher and higher. But that monthly repayment thing, that money can be channeled into doing other businesses, other things. It shouldn't just go into where you want to put your head. And so funny enough, if you're not lucky, you can buy a house here and you will just work all your life just to pay for that house. You wouldn't have any other disposable income to do other things. By the time you realize you've worked all your life paying for one house. And that is why people do complain of, buying a mortgage. Location matters, and your circumstances also does matter. And I don't want to put myself in a position where, whether I'm buying or renting, I'll be on the edge every month. I feel like I have come so far. I have worked really hard to be where I am now, and I've reached a point where I need to calm down. I need to calm down. I need to rest. I need to enjoy life. I need to be present. I need to be a present parent. I need to do better. Do you get the point? So living here is no longer feasible for me. And as I said, I have thought about it through and through, not this year, as far back as 2023, 2024, 2025. And so I saw this as an opportunity to leave, to just say goodbye. So we've started looking into some areas to start moving, and some of the areas we've visited in the past in England. So I'm not looking forward to moving to Scotland, because I've spoken to people, they're like, move to Scotland. I don't really know how things work over there. I don't know if I'm going to like it, because obviously I've not been there physically before. So I can't really say anything about Scotland. But as much as I know people that are there, they love it. They have testified, giving positive feedback about Scotland. But for me, it is not on my list. I'm looking into Northern Ireland. Again, as I said, same with Scotland. People have given feedback, but I don't personally have a testimony about Northern Ireland. I've never been there. Wales, I've been to Wales once because we have an Airbnb property there, or we had in the past. We had an Airbnb property there, which we had to stop this year in 2025. But whilst the Airbnb was running, I had been to Wales. I drove to Wales myself and drove back. It's a lovely place. I don't have anything bad to say about Wales, but it looks a bit it looks too quiet for me. In as much as I want to live in a place that is cost effective or that is a little bit cheaper, I still want to have that vibe. Do you get the point? I have a young family, I have children. We still want to experience that vibe. So Wales is out of the picture. So I've been looking within England, anywhere within England, but most especially up north, because I feel like I've lived in the south, I've lived in Kent, I've lived in London. I want to experience something different. So I've been focusing my searches on moving up north. So by the time you see this video, as I said, I am steps ahead of my videos. I'm going to move steps ahead of my videos. So we will be doing some house viewings, and definitely I'll carry you guys along. So we'll be going up north. If you see me saying that I've moved from London, you know that I've moved up north. For now, I can't really tell what area, because we are still looking. Yeah, we are still, looking at areas. I've consulted people the grandfathers and grandmothers of the United Kingdom, who know the system more than I do. And they've given me some guidance and pinpointed me to some areas. And again, I want to say that some of the country sites are so beautiful. I visited one of my friends who live in, I don't want to mention the place where she lives, right? I'm going to show a video of her house. She lives in a beautiful house. And that is one of my motivations to leave London. I visited her in summer this year, and I was like, oh my God, is this how you guys live here? She lives in a detached 4-bedroom house with 2 toilets. She's got a front, is it a walkway or something? I don't even know. She's got a garage, she's got a conservatory, she's got a garden, and she's got beautiful gardens on the side, not just the back garden. She's got beautiful gardens on the side, and it's a detached house, and she's paying £900 for this house. 900 British pounds for this house I have just described. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And she's a nurse as well. And the funny thing that, listen guys, the funny thing is that her salary there is the same salary I receive here. The same, literally the same salary. And when she does overtime, she gets £5 extra. So she works in a care home. If she does overtime, she gets £5 extra per hour for every overtime she does. Girl, she's living the dream life. I tell you what, she is so comfortable. She doesn't do much overtime, her contracted hours, and she's okay. She lives with her husband, and like life is booming. So when I saw that, she was like, girl, she also moved from here and went there, I think 2 years ago, nearly 2 years ago. And I remember I was the one giving her the support to move. And since she moved, her life has been beautiful, very peaceful. She's able to build disposable income and to do other things without having to stress herself so much. So I was like, girl, you're living my dream life. This is the life I want to live. Did you get? I don't want to just work and cough the money out for somebody just like that every time, every month. No, we have to, work smart and be able to think about the future as well. And so these are a few reasons why I have decided to move my children, yes, out of London. And we are going to a beautiful place. I don't know yet, but yes, we are going somewhere different to experience something different. And so thank you guys so much for watching, for constantly coming back to the channel. And until we meet again in my next video, guys, it's bye.